Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We want to take this time.
To welcome you to the Good Life Gospel Show right here on AwesomeGodRadio.com.
With God's love, that brings healing, that brings peace, that brings comfort.
That love drives out fear.
Even if you get down and discouraged, don't give up. The provoker can't stop the promise. Amen.
Situations where we may feel like we've been buried. In all actuality, we've been planted.
If we look within us, we can acknowledge the source that can help change the world.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Good Life Gospel Show. How's everybody doing today?
Good morning. How are you? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely awesome. Just happy and blessed to be in the house one more again. One more again.
I'm with you. Bro.
Oh, yeah. Man, thank you. Thank you, Sister Trina, for joining us this morning. I know I have sent the invitation out, and I know others on our show will be here, but we're going to go ahead and get started. And as we traditionally do, we start our show off in prayer. So if you're okay, I'm going to say the prayer for this morning.
All right.
Let's pray. God, thank you so much for your faithfulness. Thank you, God, that even in the midst of a calamity, in the midst of so much going on within our country, God, you are still yet showing faith and you're still showing favor. So we appreciate what you've done for us, what you're still yet doing. And God, we are grateful and excited about where you're taking us. So even in this moment, God, we stop, we pause, we acknowledge you today on our show. We thank you for your presence that has met us this morning. God, that I thank you that you are blessing our children, our families, God, collectively bringing us together. God, there is a sense of unity in this atmosphere. And so as you continue to bring us together, God, allow us to be better, allow us to do better, allow us to live better, God, because your expectation is that you have given us much, and to much is given, much is required. So, God, thank you that we'll be great stewards over this platform you've given us, Awesome God Radio. God, allow even all that you do and say in our midst to be shared, that others would be encouraged wherever the issues are, the situation is, as persons meet us on this platform this morning. God, I pray that something that is shared would encourage their hearts. It would challenge them to go forward. It would allow them to see you in every situation that they go through. We're trusting you, inviting you onto our show this morning, God. We thank you. We love you. Bless every host. You know their need. God, help them even now. It's in Jesus' name we pray. And we all say amen and amen.
Amen.
Well, good morning, Sister Trina. How are you doing today? How's your weekend looking? What's on the agenda?
It is good. You know,
yeah.
Excuse me. It's not much on the agenda. It is Father's Day weekend, so I am excited about that. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Yes. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later, but you guys rock. We're so super proud of you, but we'll get into that later. But as far as my agenda, you know what? You know how we do. You know, it's got to be the 12th hour.
It ain't right unless it is. It ain't right unless it is. But listen, we get it done, don't we? Don't we get it done?
We get it done. We get it done. Do not be mistaken. We get it done. So I'm just happy and blessed and proud. You know, I'm proud. Amen. I am proud.
Good stuff. Yeah. So we could talk about Father's Day first, if you're okay with that. I think it's one of those holidays that I almost missed it. People keep saying, you know, Father's Day, Father's Day. And I'm like, well, where is it on the map? Where is it on the calendar? Because looking at media and the sales and the stores, you don't see it. And I know every year we say the same thing, right? Brothers don't get the love like the sisters get.
You know what? We're going to do something different next year.
Okay.
We are going to do something next year. It's going to be, we're going to knock your socks off next
I
year. Because
want-
I'm like, man, and God is going to help. He's helping me to be a better planner of other people's time. Now, for me, I can do stuff in and of myself at the last minute and be
Right.
okay with it. But you can't
Right.
press other people like that, you know?
Well,
So
I'm not suggesting that the issue is with you or the planners and those great sisters that make sure y'all take care of us on and off Father's Day. I'm just talking about the sense of pride for Father's Day. I'm talking about our social media community. I'm talking about it ain't even a car on sale for Father's Day. That's messed up. You don't even get a car sale, no deal, no discount or nothing. To say, when McDonald's got the same dollar menu, they not even putting that on sale at McDonald's. Like, come on, can a brother get a Big Mac on discount just for one day? I'm just asking, I'm just asking.
I was saying the same thing yesterday. I was like, wow.
Right. It just seems real normal. Right. But it's all good. Thank y'all for joining. We appreciate you. We see you coming in. Please come in. Please share. Let us know that you are tuned in. Please share this. It's a very, very special show. I don't know. I just try to do what the Lord asked me to do, Sister Trina. God said, listen, we're in some unprecedented times. So share your platform. See for those who are available, who would like to come in and jump in. To share some remarks both about Juneteenth, where we are present day, or you just want to come in to say hello. I'm okay with that. So thank you, Evangelist Cynthia Harrison. We appreciate you. And this shout out is for you. Thank you, Ma, for joining us at the early part of the 9 o'clock hour. Right. Appreciate it. So those who are tuned in, I know you are sharing. Please share. Please share, and come back and join us. Let's have dialogue like we do. Good Life Dialogue. I have a lot to share, but I'm going to allow the Spirit of the Lord just kind of guide us in the best way God does it and the best way God knows how. And I believe it's going to be a great show today. So please join us. We do have a special guest that's going to join us a little bit later on the 10 o'clock hour. I'm actually very excited to speak to this young man. He's gonna blow y'all away in terms of his presentation. I've seen some video and I haven't been able to meet him personally, but I am extremely excited to meet him and to hear all that the God is doing through him, through his community activism and all those other great stuff. So Rikki Vaughn will join us at the 10 o'clock hour. But Father's Day, so jump in the discussion. You're listening, you're tuned in. Yep. Ma said she's on time today. Thank you, Mother, for your timely visit. We appreciate you. So I want those who are tuned in, who are listening, share what your plans are for Father's Day. Let's create an environment, since it may not be outside of AGR or outside of the Good Life Show. Why don't you just jump in and share some things about Father's Day? Whether your dad's still here, I know it's tough. Some of the relationships are just really challenging. And but even if you want to give glory to your Heavenly Father, how about that? Just come in, join, let's engage, and have a great day. So, Sister Trina, today is Saturday. Yesterday was Juneteenth. How did you spend your Juneteenth? How is your weekend going so far?
Juneteenth for me, I understand the celebratory and hiatus of going out and all of that stuff, but especially at this time, it's just hard to decipher, like, because I'm really not trying to be in crowds. We have a couple of factors that keep us inside, that because illnesses and things like that. But I just read and gave honor to our ancestors who were kept enslaved. That's where my mind was, just in that place, of those that were kept in slavery way past, let alone slavery in the first place, but you were kept enslaved and in captivity past you know, so that's where my mindset was yesterday. So I didn't do a whole lot of much of anything. I went and got some food, and that was about it. I didn't do any spending yesterday. We were very conscious about that.
Amen. That's good.
And look to some Black-owned businesses, in which, you know, we could patronize, which we'll keep on intentionally doing forever and always. This is just going to be a place of rest for me, and for those, you know, not saying that everybody else is off limits, but, you know, to intentionally drive our dollars in that focus and that focal point toward us,
Amen.
to support and to, you know, and to empower. So, you know, that was about it. We didn't do much. It was all rainy and stuff yesterday anyway.
Yeah, the weather's been kind of tough, huh?
Yeah. So, you know,
good.
That was it. I surprised one of my ex clients, old clients. I'm still trying to figure out a way to put that. But anyway, her birthday was yesterday. We made cupcakes and made, you know,
birthday
for that. So shout out to Zakir. Her birthday was yesterday, and she's having a birthday party today. And yeah, so that was that. God is good. And how He reaches us and speaks to us, you know.
Amen.
So how about you? What you do for Juneteenth?
So I had to work yesterday, of course. And then after work, I had a class and I had to present. Yesterday was a fiery day for me, to be quite honest. Just in my studies, reading for school, and then the intersection with school stuff, with the times, where we are, and also, you know, just reflecting on what Juneteenth means. You know, I grew up in New York. In New York, there's multicultural. There's a lot of different cultures and different, even within the Black community, you have the Caribbean culture, you have the African culture. So many in certain areas. You know, here I know that those cultures are here in Baltimore, but I'm talking about in school. You know, every other kid was from somewhere, you know, a different country, different area. So it was really a melting pot of different cultures. So you would hear a lot more about, like, Juneteenth. You would hear a lot more about these celebrated holidays that maybe people don't celebrate every year. So that was the initial learning of it. I think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to learn exactly the significance of it. And as our culture has becoming more, I want to say, more acceptable than ever in this time. And when I say acceptable, I'm talking about outside of the culture. It's becoming more acceptable. So, you know, there might have been a day where you couldn't wear dashiki to work without people thinking you were a part of the Black Panther movement, you know. But now you got white people wearing dashikis, which is, you know, significant to the fact that they're paying homage to some point. They're just really contributing to supporting our African culture. So I think for me, yesterday was a great day to reflect. It was a great day to put together a reason to celebrate. Here's why. For the past few weeks, we haven't really had a reason to celebrate. Hasn't been much to really celebrate because we watched a video of a Black man die literally in front of us. And we heard about cops entering in and taking out a young lady. You know, we saw a video of, you know, two white racist men hunt down and literally lynch a black man. So there really hasn't been much to really celebrate in watching this. And like you say, it's a whole lot. But I'm grateful that yesterday was a time of reflection to really be able to share that we no longer live in those situations. Well, excuse me. Let me back up. We no longer live in a time where that situation will happen and there's no opportunity for those persons to either go to jail, to pay the penalty, or do anything. Because at one point that was done to us, what we see today, and there was no chance, there was no opportunity. Actually, the law was really on the side of those who were doing these crimes.
Right.
So I'm grateful that we live in a society now where we can stand, voices are raised, and things happen. Are we in a perfect system? By no means, no. But we are certainly free, and I shared that. Please go to my Facebook page, and I did a video it's a pretty lengthy video, but I share my heart in terms of what it feels like to be free and to represent Juneteenth. Thank you, Tiffany, for joining us. We appreciate you. Good morning. It would be rude for somebody to say good morning to us and we don't share it as well. To our brother, Dr. E. Holmes, Dr. Eric Holmes, thank you.
Hey, Dr. E.
Dr. E, if you are free, I sent you a message. Let me know. All right. And we love you more, man. Thank you so much. Yes. So, yeah, it's been difficult to celebrate because Sister Tiff, it's hard. It's hard to find joy outside of all that the media and the news. I mean, race relations is right in front of us. And some of us are saying, go ahead, sis. I'm gonna let you jump in.
Oh, no, I was just saying it's explosive. And sometimes, just like I was writing this morning, you're more conflicted by it and confused by it, or I don't know. It's a lot. Yeah. I know in my mind, it's some days it's more so than others, or not even days. It's in and out, even throughout the day. It's just something, and it's so hard and difficult to live with. So prayer, oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I understand that there are perspectives that really, it's like you're saying, it's hard to find a grip. Where am I in this? What do I do? I am growing to the place where I'm challenging my own views and trying my best to stay level-minded and level-hearted, because there's some work AJ needs to do inside of him to either do more or less, if that makes sense. But here's where I am right now. The opportunity for us to make change is now.
Yeah,
it might be a little difficult for me to get outside of the norms to deal with that stuff for me. But if I don't fight, what's going to happen to my children?
Yeah.
If I don't say anything now, while the opportunity presents itself, how then does that impact my children and my children's children? Mm-hmm. And the reason why this is important for us today, this is just all reflections from Juneteenth. I believe that our children will have a fighting chance if we prepare them to have a fighting chance. One thing in some societies and some cultures, they don't leave their children hanging when it comes to money, businesses, and different things. They actually plan for the success of their children. Right now, they are putting money aside. They don't spend every dime. They put money aside. They have these trust funds. They have a plan for their children, and that plan will help them children. Not only are they planning and actually setting aside resources, something else they do is that they also teach them. They give them the education and they share with them, here's what the future holds. When I think about where we are today, while we are all still learning to understand how each of us play a role. If you look, this is if you are African American. If you are African American and Christian, that's even another whole nother conversation about where we are to be to care for others more than we care about ourselves. I mean, God has me, Sister Trina, in a place where He even said, and I'm going to finish it, other cultures do for them, we have to do the same for ours. But God had me the other day, was like, look, you talking about you don't want to fight. You talking about you don't want to bring awareness. You don't want to use what you got. What if Jesus said the same thing about us?
What if Jesus said it?
What if Jesus said, I didn't commit none of the sins y'all committed. I didn't do none of that stuff.
Why should I pay the price?
But why should I have paid the price for you? Okay. And I didn't do any of that stuff. See, because sometimes we try to find relevance within ourselves to figure out, well, what battles do we want to fight? It doesn't come across my table. I'm one of them. I'm telling you, this is my prayer. And mommy, if you're listening, I've been praying, and I'm not going to let it all go today, Ma. But I'm saying, I've been praying, like, where do I play this part? How far should I go, and what should I do? So what we're doing, and this, again, if you're just tuning in, these are reflections on Juneteenth. This is just the climate of our country, where we are. My goal is to really help to bring understanding to people and their struggles and what they're going through, and trying to understand that when God said to love our neighbors, what does that mean? And too often we do get comfortable with saying, if it don't come across my table, if my son didn't get murdered by police, if I never had an issue, then it's not for me, it's somebody else's fight. But somebody else died for my freedoms today. Juneteenth was about slavery ending, but here's the thing. They were free 2.5 years prior, but they were still enslaved because the message didn't get all the way to the farthest part of Texas in the states of Confederacy where somebody's free. What if somebody didn't decide to ride all the way across from the East Coast to where that? What if somebody just said, "No, that's just too much work. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get on a horse and ride a horse all the way through all these states, all the way to Texas." Somebody got on a horse. A general got on a horse and led his troop to tell everybody that we won the Civil War and you are now free. So my point is that, and I'll let you jump in, we have to do better with really understanding that our work, even today, does impact, help, support other people. We may not understand we may not completely understand to the effect or to how much we are impacting others, but I'm just trusting the work. All right, that's all. My reflection is done. So we have a comment here. Thanks. This is my, STVU rules, y'all. I love my STVU family. It's been very difficult for African Americans to secure generational wealth for children due to the circumstances of slavery. Amen. Segregation, redlining, racism, discrimination, etc. If we have the chance now, we should try our best. I agree. And even for like the stock market now, we are quote unquote in a recession. Not everybody is hurting in the recession. Some people are getting richer during these times because they've been planning. They know, okay, we know this was coming. It was trending. So now this is what we do with our money. So that's it. That's a discussion. Listen, y'all, I know I could talk all day about all of these political and, relational things. I know it's comfortable for us to deal with church behavior, Christianese. We speak Christianese well. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, if I could jump in, I'm gonna jump in really quick, AJ. Look and share with you guys. As you were speaking about money and like what we should be doing and the things that other people do and things like that. And lo and behold, that is one thing. And just driving yesterday out of nowhere, it just popped. It just came. Just popped into my mind, and I was not thinking about money or anything. But have you ever had friends or people, family, whatever, who don't have any money or claim they don't have any money, but they're going on all of these trips, they're doing this, they're doing that, and it's like, how can you do that, or why are you doing that, and this is not paid and that is not paid, whatever. And what God said was they're being intentional with what they do have. They're being intentional with their money, with their finances. Now, and that's principle. It has nothing to do with whether they tithe and all of those things, but that's just a principle of how money works, how money works. And when you sow into something or you give into something, it grows. It grows, and that's just how that is. And he's like, we can do the same thing, everybody can do the same thing. You just have to be so that's right now, that's my thing, like to be more intentional in everything. And it has to be across the board, to be more intentional. So over the last 2 days, yesterday included, what I forgot to share, and I'll be elaborating on my YouTube page, Cat Surrender to Love Inspiration.
Hey.
But I wrote letters. I've been writing letters and sending them to our legislation. I'm in Baltimore County, so my legislation, I think we might have the same, AJ, because we're both in Baltimore County, but city representatives, and I'm sending them everywhere. That's what I was doing yesterday, some of yesterday, most of the day before, most of Thursday, but sending it everywhere because somebody's going to say something. Somebody's going to respond to my letter, and like I said, I'll express and expand on that a little bit more on my YouTube channel. So visit my YouTube channel, subscribe, Cat Surrender to Love Inspiration. Yes, so we have to, we just have to be so intentional in this thing, and now is an opportune time. It's like it's the opportune time to start doing something or continue or let the things that you're doing kind of grow and step into and out of some other things where you will be fruitful and benefiting more than your home, more than your community, but by large, taking a stand to do a little bit more, wherever that should start, wherever that should look like to your to yourself or whatever, but doing what you can, just like Tiffany just alluded to. We got to do what we can. Good morning, Rez.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. But Trina, thank you for that reflection. That's good. I want to piggyback over what she said. Make sure y'all follow her. Her daily devotionals are dope. So make sure y'all tune into her every morning. She is faithful every morning. You need a word to start you off in the morning. You wake up. Make sure you tune in. So that's good. Yeah, we have to do better to leave better. And this is why all of these topics kind of run on top of each other. Rissa, we're just reflecting on, of course, Father's Day, and reflecting on Juneteenth, just our weekend, what's going on. Each of us are just sharing. I really believe that the more we prepare our children and our next generation, the better they are. They won't have to fight the same battles that we fight. They won't have to do the same things we fight. I mean, if we can eliminate some of the struggle that they have to go through, what a blessing that would be. Shout out to my wife who's tuned in. Love you, babe. She said, that's right. Surrender to love. Make sure y'all join in. And I want to say good morning to Ricky. Thank you, Ricky Carter, for tuning in. We appreciate you. I remember a video, Rissa and Trina, where it was showing the difference between, maybe a white or other race versus black. And it's a race, and they're all standing here on the front, and then they take off. Poof. And it shows, the white person, I mean, he's fast. He's just, but then they show the black person, and the black person got all of these challenges when they're running. He's got to jump a hurdle. He's got to, go under this. He's got to do it. And there's this like the same race, but then I remember that. The challenges, and I'm just speaking this story for verbatim. So if you see the video, don't judge me. I'm just giving my AJ revision. So, but it was a true depiction. And sometimes even for us, we don't really sit down, complain. We don't talk about our struggle. We don't talk about what we got to do to get through. It's we don't have to. But the point I'm trying to make is that even in that, when you think about how we are to prepare our children so that they don't have, if we can eliminate some of those hurdles, if we could take away this hurdle, we could take away the hurdle of finances. So if they want to go to college, at least they have money to go to college. If we could take away the hurdle of depression and low self-esteem, feeling like they're in a spiral kind of situation that maybe because we got through it, we don't have to teach that to our children. We could take away that. I mean, there's some battles that we can't fight for our children, that they're going to have to learn how to stand up and fight for themselves. But we can certainly prepare them so that they can be ready, in their own way.
I was about to say that, AJ. Preparing our children is very important. When I think about all that's going on, and then thinking back to how my life was coming up into this age, I didn't have to jump the hurdles that my mom or my grandmother or my uncles used to jump, but the struggle was still the same. Maybe not maybe not to the point that I faced racism face to face.
Yeah.
But definitely, okay, if you want to be successful financially, you're going to have to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But it was never brought up to me in comparison to another culture, in comparison to another race. But it was instilled in me that there's some things that you're going to have to cross, right? And growing up, I'm like, oh, maybe I have to cross this because so-and-so doesn't. Or why do I have to cross this because so-and-so doesn't? But I think one of the great things that we teach our children, and I'm pretty sure other people teach their children as well, but one of the great things that we teach our children is it doesn't matter what you have to go through. And I think sometimes that's why we don't get too far into what we've gone through versus what we've come to know.
Wow, that's good.
And so, because we are successful in our own eyes, we are successful in our own rights. Success is tailor-made to a person and their lifestyle and what they think success is, right? Mm-hmm. So even as we're sitting together, you know, we all have 3 different things going on, but we're collective, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't look at, oh, I have to make ends meet because I'm trying to look like Trina's house, or I need to make ends meet because I'm trying to have what AJ has. It's always been tailor-made to my life. And that way, I think when we teach our children that, of course, they're going to see that there's competition. They're going to see that there is, you know, not so much inclusion. Of course, they're going to see that, but we never instill in our children that would cause them, that would be a stumbling block that should stagnate them. So we teach them to jump hurdles. I remember when I was in elementary school and we had something called field day. Mm-hmm. And my favorite thing to do was jump hurdles. Mm-hmm. You know, I would stumble over top of them, but I had to jump them to get to my finished end. You know, and I think that we all have hurdles to jump. Mm-hmm. The point of the matter is, I think that what's important, as you mentioned, and because of this, I've been a very, very, very big advocate on educating my child. You know, because she is the only child and I will not be here forever. And I don't want her to believe that everything is YouTube, Skittles, and bubblegum. You know what I'm saying? And because we're leaving out of here earlier than some of our grandmothers, some of our, you know, aunties, some of our uncles, we just don't know. And I just don't want to leave her unprepared. And Tiffany Lee says, we've been too busy trying to look for rich rather than build wealth. And that's definitely, I think, that education piece, because money can't buy you happiness. Money can't, it'll pay your bills and you'll be happy for a second, but that bill won't roll around next month. And what you gonna do?
Let me tell you, money, I'm telling you, money don't do it.
The bill will come before the month is over. Okay. So we do have to instill in them legacy. You know, you want to pass the baton. You want to be educated, and then you may not love it, but it's something that is necessary for building. It's something necessary that will sustain you from generation to generation to generation. So when you do face a stumbling block, you can jump the hurdle. Yes.
So we have gotten stronger with jumping. And that's where our endurance comes in, because obviously it takes us more, it exerts more energy. But the problem with that is that everybody's not getting stronger. Some people become complacent. Some people look at the hurdle. Some people are still looking at their hurdle like, I can't get over that thing, you know. Mm-hmm. And I like what my sister Tiff is saying here. She says, we've been too busy trying to look rich than to build wealth. And that's the key. You know, if I can position myself to make myself look a certain way when I'm not really quite there yet, I get it. I understand that. And that's what we call hood rich. You know, that's what that means to be hood rich. And
I don't want no short money.
Great, a long money.
A long money.
Yes. So I think those are good reflections. Amazing. So you know, we all have children. You know, I know it's Father's Day weekend, but my sisters are representing. This is a tough weekend for me as well, because it's first Father's Father's Day weekend without my dad, my biological dad, who passed away in November. And so, I'm like excited on one end. On the other end, I'm thinking about my mom. Shout out to my stepmom. I love you so much. My sisters in Harford County and beyond. All of my sisters. My big sister, sister mom, Donnie. All right, appreciate you. My brother, of course. And so I'm just reflecting, thinking about, what this weekend means and fatherhood, and of course, with we're talking about raising up and training and making sure that they are educated for not just money, but for for life. And I'll just share this, and then I would like for you guys to jump in your own way. There were certain things that my parents drove into me that I think I got and I understood it. And I personally want to say that I'm doing well. So, like, for instance, relationship with God was foundational for my Nana. Shout out to my Nana, y'all. She's still doing her thing. She turned 90, y'all. She's still acting like she's 50.
Oh, come on, Nana.
Nana doing her thing. She looks good too. And there's some things Nana drove home. There's some things that my grandfather drove home. When I think about Father's Day, I think about him. He was the most integral part of my, me forming me with this woke. Talk about people say woke. So when I say woke, I like to say it woke like that. Meaning being conscious of the time and people, contemporary things. So when y'all hear me on my power to the people, when you hear about things outside of just what we learn in church, it's because my grandfather gave me the balance. Nana was church, he was life, real life, and men. So character and all of that stuff. So my dad, he was critical. My father was critical to the transitional moments in my life. He was critical. Now we didn't live together throughout my life, but he was always that second home that I would come. That's how I'm in Baltimore, because my dad lived here and I was in New York, and I would come here, visit, spend time with him, grew up with my sisters, and we had a great relationship, and every relationship is strained and challenged. But the story ends that my dad and I had a great relationship. We talked. And when I came to the ministry, my dad used to talk. We used to have sit downs and talk about ministry. And we would talk about scriptures. We would talk about so much. Can I tell you, in this time of my ministry, I am really, really missing those discussions. I'm missing having those talks about, denominational differences, visions, men, and what brothers need. And he was so, my dad was, he studied, he researched, he would have books, he preached, he was a pastor, he was a preacher. And the relationship that I leave, the legacy that my dad leaves for me, is that I got to have these conversations with my children. And I got to continue to instill faith. I have to be there in their transitional moments. He never judged me. He never got, he said what he wanted to say, but he still loved me beyond my decisions. And I'm talking about since day one. So my reflection of my dad today, I want to say happy Father's Day. I want to embrace and give a virtual hug to my siblings and all of those out there who are missing their dads, both in person and if they've gone away, passed away. Look, this hug, this love comes from AJ. So I just wanted to just take a second just to give a reflection on my dad. I didn't want the show to end without giving those reflections.
Amen. Amen. And happy Father's Day, to my Papa Murph, who's my bonus dad. Amen. And happy Father's Day weekend to my dad, Sherman Harris. Now, our relationship has been one of sorts, and we're still trying to get there. Praise be unto God for fixing relationships, right? For fixing relationships and forgiveness. Praise him for forgiveness, because it has to take place on both sides with everyone involved. So praise him for that. And we're working on it. I'm gonna just say we're working on it. I'm working
I
on
can
it.
do
We're
that
working on it. So that's what we'll do. We'll work on it. And
thing.
I can, at one time, that wasn't the case. I couldn't even say you was my dad because I was feeling this and I was feeling that. But you know what? Forgiveness is key, and communication is key. So in that, I can look at Father's Day and not just look to my husband like, you're a great dad and I love you, and we're going to do all of these things. I can look and do that as well, but also reflect on my biological dad, who we're working to make things better, and to increase the love in our relationship, because we have a kinship love in Christ Jesus. So hey, get
Amen.
this thing together. You two have to work
Amen.
this out. So God be praised for that. But it's just an honor to be able to see strong Black men, strong, and not to say all other fathers are discounted, because happy Father's Day to everyone and to all of those who have strength and all of those things, and who but to give separate separate praise to those who are Black, who are strong, who are intelligent, who are roughing it every single day. This life is not easy by far, to them or to women. And I'm not even going to talk about that, because you'll feel how you feel about that. But we're talking about men today, and we're talking about fathers today. So and I won't take the whole I won't take the whole time, but God is definitely good, and I'm just thankful for dads in general.
So, Riss, I want you to
Yeah.
jump in. I just want to ask everybody if you can share some things about your dads. Oh, Sister Tiff, I know we are here for you. We are giving you our extended hugs and love, even today. We are.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say real quick, Rissa, you jump in. Please, if you can, share a moment about your dad. We want to reflect and take a moment. Sister Trina, thank you for your transparent moment. Go ahead, Sister Rissa. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And happy Father's Day again to every father. I know that it's not easy. We can do the battle of the sexes all day long, but I lost my father before I even went into middle school. Mm-hmm. And he and I, up until that point, I think I graduated elementary school when I was like 12. So maybe around age 13, I maybe lost my dad. I can't remember. Kat can tell me. But up until that point, I didn't have the kind of relationship that I would have wanted with my dad. But I was able to meet my awesome family. I was able to remember Daddy taking me to Grandpa's farm and with the straw hat. And so in those moments, even though we didn't have the best relationship as for me growing up, I can reflect on good times that we did have. I want to give a major shout out to my godfather who passed, I think maybe 2 years ago, Johnny Cromwell, and it was out of nowhere. My godfather did everything with me. He loved on me. He helped raise me. He always supported. So I want to let everyone know that you guys that have had a father that passed or whatever, and recently so, because we do have a couple of you guys from AGR that have recently lost their fathers. This will be the first year without your dad, and you guys had relationship. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't imagine how hard that was. And like you, AJ, that spiritual connection with my godfather is gone. It's missing. Yes. There's a missing piece. But I thank God for my current fathers. I want to shout out my pastor. I want to shout out my elder. I want to shout out my uncles, and my amazing, I always called them the Cromwell boys, all of my cousins who are great fathers. And I have to shout out my big cousin, Anthony. I seen Anthony doing Hope's hair, doing something. And I was like, that's a great dad. So as to your point, Trina, listen. Oh, and shout out to Devin. He's one of the, a great guy from Abundant Harvest. He always is repping his kids. And just a strong father, because there are good fathers out here. You know, we see them every day. And I want you guys to celebrate. You know, make sure you celebrate. I was talking to one of my friends and he was like, I don't really think I should celebrate because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I said, listen, let me tell you something. When Mother Day roll around, I'm selling the whole day and I don't want no kids. So you take the time to celebrate. Remember the good times. Remember the good times. Even if you had a little struggle, remember that, you know, your father loved on you and you loved on your father, and especially instill in your children the good things that your father gave to you. It's important because it'll go for a lifetime. So happy Father's Day, y'all. Turn up.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing tribute. We appreciate you for that. Just good. That's good. So, you know, I think Sister Tiff put it here. She said she misses her dad's cooking. She said he would get in the kitchen and he would serve. These are great memories that we are going to hold on and cherish forever. And I know there's moments where we have our alone moments where we reflect, and those reflections bring about a certain emotion. And as hard as it is to share, I think this is the time to celebrate. Again, we're in celebration mode. I know there's a lot going on, and you know there's so much happening, but we got to know when to celebrate. And you know, even for tomorrow is a day of celebration, a day of reflection, celebration, so that we can continue to, as a family, to support one another. You know, to help have dialogue and discussion. I'm huge on community, and we are part of an amazing community of world changers. We love each other. We have great conversations on and off air, and I'm so excited about, you know, those people who are part of our community and share often. So if you're tuned in and you are listening, you're watching, please post at least one good memory of your dad. Put it in the comment section. We're going to share it and allow you to have that opportunity.
So if I can jump in really quickly, I do have fond memories of my biological dad from when I was little. He would come and get me, and I would go over to his family's house for the day or for the weekend, and we would have so much fun. So I do have two other sisters, Tangi and Paulette, and I love them. We keep in contact. Even to this day, we're sisters. We do keep in contact. We don't get together and all of that stuff, and and that's fine with us. This is how our relationship is. So, and one day we'll get there or whatever. But I do have fond memories of him. I have fond memories. My bonus mom on his side, concerning his wife, Miss Carolyn. She's always been so supportive of me, and that's one thing. And I'm gonna go veer off for just a little bit. But I had to repent, ask forgiveness toward my treatment of her and like the way that I would feel about her. And we've talked, and she knows that now. But that was a big deal and a big hindrance in my relationship and forgiveness of my dad. So it can't not be said in a way, because it can't be forgotten, because it was an integral part of knocking down some walls that I had with him, so, and she's always been supportive. She's been nothing but loving to me. So that was something that I had to like break free of, and God had to do that. But wonderful relationship, that I can remember when I was little. It was like, when you get older and you start to realize some things and you start thinking some things, and you just build up this stuff just builds up, and that's just how it is. But yes, big shout out, and remember my granddad. Oh man, and Rissa's dad, who was my uncle. Love him. I was just talking about them Cadillacs yesterday with Hope.
What'd you say, AJ?
I didn't know y'all were cousins.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. Trina was like, "You serious?" You saw her face. You serious? So mommy, I'm gonna put mommy's comment up in just a second. If you're tuned in, please share at least one memory of your dad, and or maybe something, if your dad is still here, you would like to just post in terms of a good relationship or anything that helps that. So we appreciate it.
And if I could, AJ, real quick,
sure.
And also, guys, post what you're doing as a dad. Maybe you didn't have that relationship with father, but now you have children of your own. What are you doing to bridge the gap, break generational curses? You know what I'm saying? Tear down walls. Trina mentioned forgiveness and reconciliation. What are you doing to celebrate? I'm a big celebrator. Everybody knows that I will celebrate everything and I will hold it down. I will celebrate it every day. So I would love to know, what are you doing as a father to instill in your children maybe something that wasn't instilled in you? Maybe you're passing on a legacy, as AJ mentioned, what he's passing on from his dad, he's passing on to his children. And so, to God be the glory. He turns all things into good, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Pass it down. I like that. So
celebrate the fact that you're. You wanted to read the comment, AJ?
Oh yeah. You were coming in and out just a little bit, but you're okay now. So I wanted. I'm
sorry.
No, you're good now. You're perfect. So I wanted to share here. Thank God for my father. This is from mom. He was a giver. He was always available to me. I could sit on my dad's lap and talk to him. He always made me feel like I was special to him. That's an amazing sharing. These are the memories we have of our fathers. Thank you so much, Brother Jermaine. Appreciate you, man, for jumping in. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. So we have Kay. Daddy threw me on the mic and made me sing at 5. He wasn't a Joe Jackson, but he definitely didn't play. He encouraged my gift. Oh my goodness. And did he encourage little Dorinda or Dorinda Clark in a K. Thank you, Kay. That's a great message, right? And just to put Joe Jackson and Murphy on the sand, Joe Jackson ain't got nothing on Dad Murphy. So just to let you know.
That's my buddy, Dad. I love him. I love him dearly. I love him dearly.
We love you too, Brother Tornado. We appreciate you, man, and thank you, man. When let us know what you have going on, brother, and we'll definitely be there to support you. Listen, I wanted to say thank you, Trina. Thank you, Rissa, for sharing in a candid way about your dads. So, Trina, you bring about a dynamic where that I believe many people are in terms of their relationship with their fathers. The relationship with the father and the child, whether it's a girl or a boy, sometimes is estranged because of our community. There is almost a high percentage of where men are not in the homes. Now that's changing. I want y'all to know that's changing. It's changing in many ways. Not just changing in there are more men in the household, but now more men are subject to be fathers, be in their children's lives. You have that situation. Yeah, there's times where the mother and the father go in different directions. And then there was a generation or two where the dads just left the planet or they couldn't take it. They just, and I know it happens now, and I'm not trying to be insensitive to any person who may be going through anything or have kind of overcome those things. But what I'm saying is it's trending more now that men are being more at home with their families and raising their kids. And you know how I can tell that's happening? Because when I was growing up, some of the most major like basketball players, rappers, the public figures of the people that we saw when I was growing up, they didn't really publicly put their families out. They didn't really support the whole family, children taking, being responsible. You didn't see a lot of that. But now you see it, hip hop artists, they are married, in a relationship. Now some of them, do their thing. But I'm saying now it's becoming more popular in our culture that fathers take good care of their kids. And I pray that more and more of it happens, because when you are dad and you're in the life of your child and you're really spending real quality time getting to know them and putting all of your other life stuff aside to be a part of that equation, I really believe it helps to build confidence It helps to deal with the anger that some of our young people are seeing. Why my daddy don't want me, or why he don't want to be in my life? Well, we can kill all of that if we just help to support. So shout out to the brothers who are transitioning. I know there may be some challenges. AJ's here to support you. I would love to sit down, have dialogue, discussion. Should there be any issues, inbox me. I want to have conversation with you. And this is what I wanted to say in response to that, Trina. You know, I'm learning that we as a people have to, I heard this word yesterday, I'm going to use it. My sister Kelly was on the show. Give ourselves grace.
Yeah.
Give ourselves grace.
I was there. I was at her. I was at that.
Oh, that was an amazing video.
It was awesome.
All the people shared. But one of the doctors that was on there said, you have to give yourself grace. And the way I took that, and I never heard it in that term, but I think what they were saying is that you have to really come to cope that maybe you did something, you haven't made mistakes, there's some rough patches, but you got to breathe, you got to get over this thing, and you got to give yourself a chance to say what you say. Now, this is not only for you, but we got to give other people grace too.
Yeah.
Strange relationships. You know, I would love to hear how the situation, I know what my dad went through, I know what my mom went through, but in situations where there's misunderstanding, there's some history missing. There's some factors that are missing that don't allow us to line up, and we're confused, we're upset, we're angry because we don't understand what they went through. The generations before us, y'all, went through a lot. Civil rights, they went through, a lot of stuff. So I'm going to leave it there. Kay has a comment here. I want to share my wife's comment. She said, okay, that we've already went through that one. I'm sorry, babe. I'm just rambling. That's why. Listen, y'all, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. I want y'all to go get something to drink, get your bowl of cereal, come back because we have a special guest at 10 o'clock hour. I want y'all to see all of the personality of this brother. I promise y'all will enjoy it. And I will give my history of why I invited him last minute, y'all. Within the past 8 to 10 hours, I invited him to come to the show, but I really want to hear from him. So we're going to play a quick song if y'all are okay with this, and we will be back. This track right here is from my good brother, Rush Shanks, and my Razel. I want to play this song here. It's fitting for our time. Y'all, stay tuned, y'all. Good Life Gospel Show.
We have to walk right, act right, look right, talk right. We're all right. March through the streets with assault rights. They all white, chanting, pushing low key to apartheid. The Alex Charles right into the crowd, and we lost life. Terrorists are seen right, but the president backed you. In fact, you never even mention any statue. But the powers that be use their property, need to get a permit to make dudes like DeAndre bleed. Just imagine if some black folk marched out, attack folk, and strung up a B&M banner up a flagpole. Police and riot gear will be ready in attack mode to put every man, woman, and child in a rat hole. I get it. This is the America we live in. They've taken so much, but they still want us to give it. We sitting at the table like the 60s with the sinners, but our spirits want the minutes, cause the mission isn't finished. Yes.
Let me tell you, I am royalty, and what I'm fighting for is so we could rise above what my eyes see, and all I see is blood. You and me, desperate for humanity, seeking only one out of the darkness into the sun.
We living in a world where everything is offensive. Kneeling at the anthem, now everyone is offended. I anthem with my people are vilified in the lyrics. Don't care about the flag, we want things to be different. It's been hard wars inwards, and I ain't talking about ninjas. The slave beating murder, you wonder why we're indignant. Crying out, but you ain't heard us, you hiding behind indifference. Why you beating on your chest, posturing like gorillas? Kaepernick was a catalyst and was brave to do it. Ray and Shannon had different stances and ways to view it. We lift our hands and you draw your cannons to numb my noodles. No wonder answer the witness stand cause that one is muted. For the record, I don't care if you apologize, cause if the actions don't change then it's apologize. The glory lies on my God that changed my storyline. If it's protected from shots fired from 45.
Let me tell you, I am royalty, and what I'm fighting for is so we could rise above what my eyes see, and all I see
this country great again. Make my people 3/5 Homo sapiens. Take our names again. Make my people slaves again. Resort to rape again. Put us all in chains again. Man, that ain't happening. Not without a scrap again. No whips lashing, putting gashes on our backs again. I'm Chuck chilling, but my freedom makes me passionate. But try to take it, see I'm far from a pacifist. You think it's bad when we yelling in the streets, acting wild and riot. We capping when we fill up like fighting Somali pirates. You think that it's a game if you dare, go ahead and try it. Don't think we're unaware of the state of this racial climate. With two motivations, one 12, the other 8. As a man, I'll be damned if a cell would be their fate. As a father, I will fight tooth and nail to keep them safe. If the roles were reversed, maybe then you could relate.
Let me tell you why I'm royalty and what I'm fighting for. It's so we could rise above what my eyes see, and all I see is blood. You and me, desperate for humanity. The only one out of the darkness into the sun now.
Good Life Gospel Show. You are tuned into Awesome God Radio. Listen, y'all, just give us a second. Our guests will be here in just a moment. We're going to play one more track, y'all, and we'll be right back.
Yeah. I know some of y'all ain't going through nothing. But those of you who really just need a season of lamentation to just cry out to our God. Hallelujah. I dare you right where you are. You ain't got to hold nobody's hand. You ain't got to turn to nobody, but I need you to tilt your head towards heaven. Hallelujah. I need you to get in the face of Yahweh and let him know, God, will you do me a favor, please? Make it stop.
Yeah, there comes a time in life we must face where God puts us all in a real tough place. It sounds like the pastor is talking to me. Yep, have you been there? We all can agree. Yeah, tears falling, you're dealing with conviction.
Shout out to my brother Haas. Let's go.
Get your attention before destruction. There's a warning light, and these are what you would call the storms of life. It comes in many forms: your finances or illness, the death of a loved one while they're here. Hug them. Car accidents, foreclosures you found filled with another woman, your marriage going downhill, bills not paid off, great job laid off, suicidal thoughts is the vibe that you gave off. Your whole life is crumbling down. It's just God saying come to him now. Wow. Cause I ain't never have to stress like this. I ain't never been depressed like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never felt hurt like this, or like I wanna leave the church like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never have to struggle like this. I ain't never been this broke as this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never have to hide like this. I ain't never question God like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never have to pray like this, but my life can't stay like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never have to live like this. God, I can't do my kids like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never face a test like this, where everything is just a mess like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never have to suffer like this. I know it can't get no rougher than this. Lord, make it stop. I never lived a double life like this. God, I can't do my wife like this. Can you make it stop? I ain't never been as weak as this. I ain't never have to speak like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never have to act like this. I ain't never been attacked like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never have to cry like this. Lord God, why is it like this? Can you make it stop? I know the Bible, I can quote the verse, but life went from bad to worse. Lord, make it stop. I'm on my knees, I'm in front of the church. Can you break this generational curse? Lord, make it stop. I'm being honest, God, I want to confess. I'm consumed by the lust of the flesh. Lord, make it stop. I got a problem, I continue to sin. I can't believe I'm repenting again. Lord, make it stop. Every day another brother is shot or being robbed for whatever they got. Lord, make it stop. Where's the justice? Where is the peace? Why we keep getting killed by police? Lord, make it stop. We can't trust those that carry a gun. Now a mother has to bury her son. Lord, make it stop. We keep screaming out enough is enough, but we all know the world is corrupt. But you can make it stop. I can't keep getting abused. I don't want to end up on the news. Lord, make it stop. I can feel it all over the globe. So many going through the story of Job. this. Lord, make it stop. I know I can't make it alone. See, they talking about taking my home. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never felt pain like this. Never knew that it could rain like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never feel forced like this. I don't want to get divorced like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never felt neglected like this. I ain't never been rejected like this. Lord, make it stop. I ain't never have a storm like this. When everything is going wrong like this. Lord, make it stop.
Good Life Gospel Show. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for joining in, for tuning in. We are so grateful that you guys are here with us today. Man, it's a great day to be live. It's a great day to be alive. And we are sharing, of course, this is the Father's Day weekend. Yesterday was Juneteenth. And so we are in full-fledged Good Life. We've been here, y'all. We've been doing it.
Yeah.
Through the good, through the bad, through it all. We've been here, going live, making sure that we keep those who are connected informed as to what it is that we're sharing. So without further ado, our guest is here. He's in the virtual studio. We appreciate him. I'm going to bring him on in just a second here. But I want y'all to brace yourselves for my good brother who's going to be joining us today. Let's just do this. Turn this down right now. Here we go. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Good morning, King. Good morning, Queens. How are y'all today?
Man, we're doing well. We're doing well. I'm going to turn the background music off so that we can hear you loud and clear, which is okay. So let me just read, if you're okay, I'm going to read a portion of your bio so that for those who are tuning in or listening, we'll get to know my brother Rikki. Okay, so grew up in East Baltimore. All right, his mother worked as a corporate attorney and his father worked as a Maryland legal specialist. Understanding the struggles and the challenges of his community, he dropped out of high school at 16 to help his family. He started working minimum wage and then was promoted to general manager at the age of 18, while still seeking his GED at the age of 25. Went to Hampton University. I'll forgive you for that. Earning his bachelor's of science in criminal justice and graduated magna cum laude. He attended the University of Southwest and is now earning his PhD in public policy and administration. This brother recently ran for the mayor of Baltimore City, if I understand that, and wants to take his acquired knowledge and experience to help uplift the city of Baltimore. There are so much more I can say about this brother, but let me say this before I bring him in. My wife and I was watching the video of those that have been protesting the Vince's Crab House space in Middle River. And out of nowhere, this brother came up and just jumped in. Saw what was going on, man. This is when we originally saw him come in the video. And I was in my living room clapping. I was in my living room shouting. I was at work. You know, I couldn't join you. Let me just say that, because I heard the crowd was to come out and do something. But this is how I'm responding. I said this voice, this standpoint where he is speaking from, we all need to be a part of what he's saying. And so I really wanted to first share, just say congrats to what you guys are doing. We're supporting you. We hear you. And also kind of give us the background of what's going on there.
Absolutely. Well, again, I appreciate the opportunity. Yes, I joined the movement from a phone call I received from the organizer, which is Rikki Vaughn, which is no relations. She spells her last name different than mine, but we are good friends. She's a brilliant and strong queen. So you mentioned briefly about my background with McDonald's. So I branched away from McDonald's and became a franchisee. My wife and I own 122 restaurants throughout Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and the East Coast, with franchises with Dunkin' Donuts, KFC, and some other locations. Kelly gave me a call and wanted me to get involved from the perspective of a business owner to see if we can sit down at the table and understand where this anger and this hate towards the Black community was coming from Vince, the owner of Vince Crab House. Being that 75 to 85% of his business comes from the African American community. And so when I got there, we had a brief conversation outside, not with Vince, but I had a brief conversation with Kelly and some other folks, and said, we got to stop asking for apologies from these folks that want to stab us in the back and want to shut the doors for a couple of days and think that we're going to sweep it under the rug and everything is going to be okay. And I told, the protesters that we can't do things in the minute or in the moment. We have to do it for the movement. And so ever since then, we've been up there every single day. I've actually had some of my employees up there protesting at their will, not mine, because we need to drive that type of hate and racism out of our community. And, for him to say that he grew up around black folks and his best friend is black, obviously you have a disconnect with the black community, because you can't say the comments you made about, the African-American male is a coward watching his sisters and mothers get raped. You can't say that I want to hire some of the black kids. Why would we want our kids working in your establishment when you've already shown us who you are? Right. And I've said that when a zebra show you the stripes, it's a zebra. So we, a lot of folks said, well, we got to make sure that we spend no black dollars in there. Absolutely. We need to show these racist and hateful businesses in our community how strong the black dollar is, how strong the black force is, and that black lives do matter. But we don't not only want the 75 to 85% of the black dollars to go through his doors, we don't want any dollars to go through his doors, because we don't need that in our communities. And when we go and you have folks, whether it's that other 25% that go patronize that type of establishment, you don't realize that we're still fighting in 2020 for freedom and respect and dignity. And when you go spend your money in that type of establishment, you're supporting hate that we're trying to fight against. And so, we've been out there. We're going to continue to be out there. We'll be out there today at 11 o'clock as well. I'm so proud to say the nation has, the brothers have joined us. They will be out there today as well. I am going to say I'm disappointed that the NAACP has not been out there, that the Black Caucus has not been out there, and so-called black elected officials who say they love us and represent us have not been out there. But they showed up this whole election season asking for folks' vote and support. So, we're stronger in numbers, we're stronger in unity. And I continue to say that we will continue, if we fail to stand in unity, we'll continue to fall in solitary.
That's a great point, man. And
I'm sorry,
appreciate.
I get passionate, so I go on and on.
No, you can, you good. You good, man. And feel free to share your personality, because, man, you was out there, man. You had me laughing, clapping, and both feeling motivated to really support this in any way. So here's a situation where you are in an intersection between your community activism and your business, because and this is the one thing that qualifies you more than anybody, I would say, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with any of us going out there, but you are a person who hire people for restaurants, and you have a staff, you have people that are accountable to what you do as a business owner and having these. And now your passion to do more for the city of Baltimore. Here's a perfect example, a template, if you will, of an opportunity to show people who don't care for who we are, but care more about our money and how we spend it. And now you are trying to show that we have strength in numbers to drive those businesses out. I want to say this might be the beginning of something new. And while it may not seem like it's working. All right. It's catching the attention. I've been seeing video clips all over my timeline about some of the things that are going on with the protesters. I saw the police officer misinform the people. I saw you check that officer. Listen, y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all something. I'm trying to tell y'all something. I'm getting excited. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited. But I'm going to meet you just real quick because I hear a little bit of feedback, but I need to say this. One of the things that I saw happen in the video, which is amazing, and I've never seen this before, is that the police officer was telling the people that they couldn't go and protest in front of the restaurant. I mean, we were watching it. Oh, we can't go in. So there was a sister. They were saying, well, we don't understand. They were asking. They even went to the sergeant and they asked the sergeant. It was like, we don't understand. We were here before, And then I think one of the brothers said, you can protest anywhere. This is public property. You can go. This is as long as you're doing it peacefully. And so the cop was giving his long drawn explanation. And this brother right here, this educated black man, said, wait a minute, sir. He talked to an officer. Wait a minute. That's not the law. Let me explain to you what the law means. The law means that if we're trespassing, the owner has to be here to take our IDs and tell the law enforcers that they cannot stand in certain areas. And so he was like, yeah, that's the law. So if that's not what's going on, if we're not, the owner has to trespass, right? I think that's what he was saying. You know, I didn't go to school for law. So okay, let me unmute you so you can jump in. But I think what was going on was that because he had knowledge as to how we could justify being able to protest, that advanced the protest to the front of the restaurant, which really the cops shut down. After that, he didn't have anything else to say. As long as it was out there peacefully, it was good. And I gotta tell you how inspiring that was. You know, people say that if you want to hide something to black people, put it in a book. But real time, we had the experience, the knowledge, and to know we got to know our rights. This is why it's important, for us to read, to understand. If you're going to go out there, this is why organization is well, because then you can train those who are going out to know what their rights are. So, man, thank you, man, for that, man. Jump in a little bit. I know you're having an event today. This is another reason why I wanted to, at least on our show, give more information. I know you guys are purposely to do something today at 11.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate it. Absolutely. What part of protest is we have to continue to make sure that we're organized. And part of my, I actually am Dr. Rikki Vaughn now. I actually graduated this month. In June with my PhD. But
man, man, good stuff. Congrats, brother.
Thank you. So prior to going for my actually right after my MBA, I went to law school.
Okay.
And part of me going to law school, the purpose of it was to understand why I was spending so much money to corporate attorneys to represent my company. So I never wanted, my intention never was to practice law, but it was to understand why I'm writing a check.
It's like a do-it-yourself kind of situation.
Absolutely. Your first year of law school is your first L is considered constitutional law. And, we have to make sure that we're organized. So when we go and we protest, or we go and we're making sure that we're standing for something, we understand the background and the legal side of it. And as a business owner, I can say, typically they, you have, when the police are called to a business, it's just like the old myth when police officers are in courtrooms, the judge and the jury typically goes aside with them. And it's the same that when a police officer is called to a business, they typically side with the business. But you have a fine print there. Typically, when you call 911, they immediately come to the complainant first. In this case, we were the complainant saying that we were being threatened by the security guards in there. One of the security guards showed his weapon and said, I wish I can turn my camera around. I'm so touched. You got about 300 young folks over here.
Already meeting you there, huh?
Ready to. I'm
I have to get my shoes ready.
But you had a officer or a security guard who weapon was covered, and he uncovered his weapon in front of law enforcement, in front of Baltimore County Police. He uncovered his shirt, or moved his shirt to show his weapon, and made the comment by saying, "I have 8 bodies under me. I'm not worried about getting a knife one." And so we called. The officer didn't do anything. So
that's a threat.
We called 911. That's a threat.
Yeah.
And so we called 911 and said, I would like for a supervisor to respond. So 12 police cars pull in the parking lot. And when 12 pull in, 5 of the officers immediately go and try to talk to Vince, the owner of the crab house. How y'all doing? And so we called the supervisor and we said, well, how is this the case? We called 911. Oh, yeah, but we just wanted to make sure everything was all right. So you don't want to come make sure everything is all right with a peaceful protest. Oh, hey, how y'all doing? I appreciate y'all. Let me just let my wife know.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. Sorry.
No. You good.
Like, I want you to turn the camera around.
Yeah, we want you to turn the camera around when you can. So
I sure will. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna turn around.
But go ahead,
yeah. So he the supervisor gets there, and before the supervisor, one of the sergeants gets there, and she tells the young lady, She says, well, verbal threat isn't against the law. And so
What?
again, this is on camera. So again, very respectfully, I said, well, if I was you, I would go back and look at the books they gave you in the police academy. So we had to show her the statute that verbal assault is against the law. And so that's what I mean when I say we have to make sure that we do it organized, because we already pointed out what trespassing was. I already understand what trespassing is.
Trespass, right.
Because I've unfortunately had to trespass individuals out of my restaurants.
Okay.
But again, the only reason why we got involved is to make sure that we can't continue to let stuff be swept underneath the rug. And I saw that well, let me go back. We are making some ground way. We had one of his vendors pull their contract on Monday. They said they would not be supplying any of his loans.
Wow.
And one of the and that's where you go. I tell folks,
yes,
we don't break windows, we don't break doors anymore. We
don't do that no more. Yeah.
If you break that window, he can call his insurance company and it can be replaced easily. And
right.
we probably would
make more money.
Right. Because the appraisal that he get $500, he probably get a check for $1,500.
Right.
So don't break windows and don't break doors. Break that bank account.
Yeah, break the bank account.
How powerful the black dollar is. Because if he doesn't get any sales in that restaurant, he can't pay that insurance company. So we had one vendor for their contract. We got a gentleman, him and his wife just got approved yesterday for a space around the corner. We're working with them on opening up a crab shack. So that's how you do it. You shut him down, you open up a crab shack or a restaurant or a business that's not only going to but reinvest in the community.
Yeah.
And that's really what my passion is. I was homeless as a teenager. I slept in an abandoned apartment.
Come on, sir.
I washed up with a water hose. And so folks don't really, know my story and my testimony.
Come on,
and that's really what I've been trying to fight, is for that next generation to understand that the fight must continue and the fight will continue. But even on my story, I was a high school dropout to MBA and PhD. I was homeless as a teenager to a homeowner. I was high school. I was convicted of a felony when I was a young man at 18. And now I'm out here advocating, hopefully and very peacefully. And that's
Dr. Vaughn today. You Dr. Vaughn today.
Well, and Dr. Vaughn today. And God.
Dr. Vaughn today.
So, I always tell folks, don't let your history dictate your destiny. So we're going to continue the movement. We're going to continue to fight. And I'm encouraging folks to follow us, support us. But we shouldn't only, assemble and protest and speak reactively, right? After we've already seen what was done. We've seen the type of stripes and colors he was in 2012 when he made the comment that Zimmerman should get off. So we have to follow that, and we have to be mindful and watch that. But it's sad that we now, unfortunately, in some of the scenarios, we're only protesting after we got 3 black men that's hanging by a tree in Florida. We've already saw the signs. How many kids have already been put out of establishments because they weren't even given a plastic bag to put their items in, but other privileged folks was? These are the signs that we need to watch, and you wonder why it comes to where we are today. I'm worried about, or I'm not going to say I'm worried. My prayer and hope today that it continues to be peaceful. But I will say, I see why so many young adults are pushed to that limit to where they start rioting and everything else. When you try to exercise your God-given right for a peaceful assembly and freedom of speech, you get officers who try to intimidate you with mixed laws, don't understand or they understand the law, but they don't think you understand the law. And when you got yesterday, for an example, the police was called 24 times in Baltimore County for Venture's Crab House. Guess how many of those times protesters called? Once. So why am I sharing that with you? We've seen in the past how folks come up with their defense. I'm fearing for my life. I called you guys 23 times. So if that security guard discharges his weapon today in court, and I'm telling you from watching Law and Order and all them other shows, in court, he's going to say, well, I only discharged my weapon because I was feared for my life. If you look at the police log, I called you guys 23 times. That's why we got to be careful and we got to watch the actions of what they're doing. And that's why today I'm so happy we got the nation up there with us, and we got brothers and sisters up there, and we're going to stand. And again, we're going to keep it peaceful. We're not breaking anything. We're not vandalizing anything. But I guarantee you we're going to break that Bank of America account he got.
Man, I want to give you a round of applause, man. And I can't tell you how encouraging it is to see what you guys are doing and how you're organizing. I can tell you that it's a different tone from what you're saying today than from the videos that we watched early. And the negotiations and the brushing of the shoulders. And, I thought there was a lot of activities that was happening from the initial emotional response. I'm talking about the first day. And now you can see that there's more of a plan, there's more strategy, there's more support for the right reasons, not an emotional response, but more or less a calculated strategic response. And let me just say this as a business owner, I am all for businesses. I would never want anybody's business, compromised in any way, just as you are. You have businesses, I'm sure you wouldn't want anybody compromising your business. But here's why this is wrong. The integrity of it is that 75% of his money is coming from people who he is being insensitive to, not in his private dinner table discussions, but feel that he can say these things publicly and nobody would ever find out. And the thing is, your insensitivity for the Black community, people of color, and then expect for us to live off of, for us to buy the 200, 300, 400. I heard a lady say she spent $1,000 in crabs a week. Now that was kind of out there, but for those kind of things to be shared, and you still today laughing and joking, like this stuff is funny, and you mocking the people who are out there protesting. I don't think he understands the consequences that are coming with what's happening. And until the lesson is learned, I do believe in forgiveness. I do believe in, and God's going to do some great things for you. I'm a man of faith. I believe that. But I can't tell you that I've seen anything that was authentically apologetic. And apology is not enough. It's just more and more laws. And what happens if we, who are licensed to carry, walk around with guns? It would be a shootout out there. And you know why? Because they're more fearful of a Black man walking out there with a gun than they are with that gentleman standing around flashing his weapon. So that's all I'm going to say, man.
So this is what I wanted to say as well, if I could jump in, AJ, real quick. When Dr. Vaughn was speaking, he was mentioning the fact that, one, we have to be educated. We have to know what our laws are. We have to know what our rights are. And, just because somebody is in uniform, they assume that we don't know. That's number one. So you have to know why you do a thing and for which you do a thing and how you need to do a thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is that he said, this is not a moment. This is a movement. That means you have to continue. And so many times we are okay with apology. Oh, I just need you to say I'm sorry so we can move on. But apologies mean nothing without change behavior and or action. So I think the thing is, because most of us are so loving, most of us are so humble, most of us are, we just want y'all to do right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of those people. I'm one of those persons where, like, look, we don't have to agree. You go on your side, I'm gonna go on my side, but don't stab me in the back. I take people really don't, and I mention this all the time. People really do not understand the consequences of betrayal. It will take you to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
When you have befriended somebody and you've expressed who you are, you've shared your family and your money and your time, and you have supported, and you now feel betrayed, that takes on a whole nother mindset. So then when you get the riots and the looting and all of that stuff like that, do I agree with it? No. But some people get sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I feel like, since you're going to destroy my life, my legacy, my character, let me hit you where it hurts a little bit. Yeah. And we don't care about the price that we have to pay.
Right. I think Rikki said it too. He was like, you think we're afraid to go to prison for something that we're fighting for? And
on top of that, we're going to prison for the things that we're not, you know what I'm saying? We're going to prison anyway. So, there's always, and I say this, and I'll pass the mic. When I was working in a correctional facility on Eagle Street and the surrounding areas, they don't care. They're repeat offenders for reasons. You understand what I'm saying? Some people don't care. And I think that I appreciate the change, especially the changes that happen behind the scene, because people are more and more educated. People are more and more aware of how to do things, because they now can take their passion and then fuel it with knowledge. And then you ultimately get things done that way. And then for you, Dr. Vaughn, to come in, Rikki, to come in and to help and to educate and to organize. And what you said was very important, because some people are just that. They're emotional and they're reactive. But when you have somebody really coming in like, okay, y'all, we're going to take this ball of energy and I'm going to teach y'all how to get things done. Because you can scream, you can yell, you can cuss, you can fuss. But after it's said and done, that doesn't change anything. So you want to do things that are going to make a difference. You want to do things that are going to, like you said, break bank accounts, because people really don't understand. The Bible says the love of money, and because people love their money so much, they'll do anything on the good side and the bad side. They'll do almost anything to keep their money. So when you're like, oh, all they want is an apology because, okay, if this is, I'm not in that area, so I didn't even know about how far back, his comments went. And I'm like, why did it have to take up to now, for you guys to realize that this has been happening, and and still patronizing there. So when he said, because I was like, well, why are they going out there every day? Because again, I'm still learning this type of activism. I'm still educating myself and trying to understand, and then trying to figure out what my place is and what my support looks like. And so when he mentioned, oh, we're going to be out there every day because people need to know and they don't know.
Yeah.
That's not televised.
Yeah. You're right about that.
That's not televised. That's not plastered all over the media, that we have a racist person in our community, but you want us to build up our community, but now we have to jump this hurdle, as we were talking about earlier.
I think that is key, because what Rikki and team are doing is something that needs, this is like you're in the kitchen, you need to sweep, but right now I'm just going to sweep underneath the table where everybody's eating. Like this is only the beginning of something that means we got to go through the whole kitchen. We got to sweep up, and not only the kitchen, we got to go to the living room. This is something I believe we need to be driving out liquor stores. We need to be driving out Chinese restaurants. We need to be, we need to drive out all of these businesses that are not sensitive to our needs. Like what? Yeah. And I want you to jump in. Chinese restaurants are $1 million businesses. Let's be real, okay? They're $1 million businesses. Sometimes you go in there, it's cold. you know what I mean? Right. They won't even give you no even dirty. During the winter hours.
It's dirty.
Spend $80 to give you one bag of sauce. That's why I stopped. It's for Black, and I said it yesterday. The Black culture and the Black community. That's why Black is so beautiful. We are the creators of soul food, some of the best macaroni and cheese, some of the best collard greens with ham hocks in it.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure we are creative about getting some rice and noodles and putting some beef in it and selling it in our community. So, I can't wait for the day for us to have a Black Chinese restaurant. And that's why I'm going to patronize and spend my money. I've always been about, and I've said this publicly, I've even gotten some frown from some of the folks in the business community, that every business in our community is not for the best of our community or for the good of our community. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is those are the businesses that are not reinvesting in the community by hiring young men and women from the community. They're not the business that when you got a school that is challenged when it comes to heat and air conditioning or textbooks or laptops, all these millions of dollars we just gave your establishment of your business, how come you're not helping this school out when it comes to educating our kids?
Come on.
So these are the things, and how many businesses in our communities that you got to walk through piles of trash just to get in there.
Man.
But yet the business owners come outside and get inside of a Bentley or a BMW.
Wow.
This is what we got to
That's
continue
truth,
to pay
man.
attention to. These are the folks that say they care about us, that they love us, but they're stabbing us in the back while taking our money.
And we have to define, we have to define as consumers what the standard is. That's the problem. We have to define it, and I think that's what's going on. Hey, this is a quote by you. This is from my wife. Crabs ain't even good. Ain't got no season on them. Listen, y'all, we have to be able to create our own flavor, our own taste. We got to be able to be creative. And this is a good season. This is a good time. People may ask, why now? Why are you doing this now? Well, because right now it just feels like progression is being made in some ways, in some areas, where people are listening, at least listening to that the insensitivities of this country, systemic racism. I'll use the term if they don't want to, conservatives don't want to use it. Systemic racism. All of those things are really helping us to, in so many ways, become who we are today as a unique, standalone, amazing culture of Black people. And man, we appreciate you. I know you got a long day ahead of you, so we don't want to keep you long. But can you share the information in terms of where this place is and let us know a little bit about what's going to happen today?
Absolutely. So we're going to be at the Middle River location. So this racist, hateful person has 5 locations. 3 out of the 5 are in heavily populated African American communities. We're going to be at the Middle River location today and the Falston location, but the protest mainly is going to be at the Middle River location today. That's his highest volume location. It's located at 610 Campus, which is in Middle River. We're going to be there from 11 to 8. I'm only unfortunately going to be there until about 12 o'clock. My son's birthday party is today.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And happy Father's Day to you too, man.
Absolutely.
And I was gonna say that at closing too. Happy Father's Day to you and all the fathers out there, and to the single moms that are playing dual roles as dad and mom as well. So I never forget that, because I have some family members that are mom and dad. So, but I'm even gonna be at my son's birthday party, kind of saddened about not only Vince's Crab House, but unfortunately in Baltimore, we had a young queen that was life was taken yesterday.
Man. Talk about it.
At 23 years old.
Oh, we lost them.
He's gonna. I'm trusting that he's gonna come back. Okay, can you hear me? All right, you broke up.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Okay,
23-year-old.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be hugging my son that's turning 4 years old, and unfortunately, we had a young mother yesterday, a young queen, who was pregnant, expecting a son, and her 3-year-old. So 3 lives was taken yesterday. And as a father, now, and as a husband, as a brother, I'm just gonna have mixed emotions. We have to do better. But again, we can't continue to protest reactively. We have to be proactive with this movement. And it's not, I want folks to understand, it's not about just Vince's Crab House. It's about the hate that's in our communities. We wonder why generation after generation we continue to see a spike in hate and racism and so on. It's because we are not proactive. We don't get in front of it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's hopefully I'm praying that's what this movement is about. And I keep telling folks, this isn't a moment, it's not a minute, it's a movement. And if anyone understands the definition of a movement is ongoing. Right? It's not one of those that lose the momentum or lose the drive because we've had one success. Because that one success that we had is 3 other ones that we need to go continue.
That's
to
what I'm
fight on
saying.
as well.
Just the beginning. Just the beginning.
We're gonna be it. And again, folks keep saying, well, the Black folks know not to spend a dollar. That's not what the mission is. The mission is to get him out of our community.
Yeah.
Because we still got folks that look like you and I.
Oh, we saw it. I saw the
street.
video, man. Yeah.
And we got some of them still going in there patronizing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to say it very respectfully. Everyone that looks like you and I are not for you and I.
Right.
And so because of one of the comments that a young lady mentioned of African American, and it hurt me to death. I'm sorry, it did.
Share, man.
She
share
said,
it.
she said, well, I have a biracial child, and he didn't call me or my child a nigga. And I truly, and I don't know if I'm able to say that on the airway, so I'm sorry if I'm
No,
not.
you're good. You're good.
But the reason why it hurt me is because now I understand why our kings and queens, our ancestors, fought for us. It wasn't about them directly calling me a nigga. It was calling us as a culture a nigga.
Right.
And so when one of us are called out of our name or disrespected, when one of us are spit in the face and dogs sick and attacked on us, it's all of us. And until we understand that, and until we realize that as a culture and as a nation, we're going to continue to have this same bigot, hate, racist folks amongst us, because we have to continue to stand in unity. So it hurt me to death. And I'm like, sis, you know, you're biracial child. And I'm going to say this respectfully. Your biracial child at the end of the day, in so many folks' eyes, is not biracial. They're black.
Black.
So we have to continue to make sure that we educate our folks. I'm so disappointed that we've taken African American history out of our schools. That's where you want to go to the root cause.
Right.
That's where it starts. We've taken the history out of our schools, educating our kids.
The other side of it, Dr. Vaughn, and I know you're busy, man, but you just sparked something up, man. We got a few more minutes, man. You might as well hang out with us. So one of the things that you mentioned was the comment that the young lady made, and then I did. My wife was kind of keeping me posted on what was going on with that, and I want to make it clear, even to those who are tuned in, who are listening right now. Dr. Vaughn, Dr. Rikki Vaughn, he ran for mayor here in the city of Baltimore. He is helping to lead and to support a movement, not even just a movement, but a moment, not even just a moment, whatever you want to call it, a protest against Vince's Crab House because of some very racist and insensitive posts dating back from 2012, even to our most current times. So what I wanted to say was that, and I'm going to meet you if you're okay while I say this, and then I'll pass it right back to you guys, was that one of the things that I noticed, that even from her comment, we're seeing some of the same things that some of our ancestors understood, where Harriet Tubman said, you know, I freed thousands of slaves. I would have freed more if they knew that they were slaves. And so
I was about to say that
our education and understanding of who you are doesn't mean that we don't regard for any other race. Let me tell you something. I have friends, and you said it on your live yesterday. We have friends. I mean, real friends, Caucasian friends, white friends. We have real life friends and people that we appreciate and love. Now, let me tell you, if your friends don't understand that, number one, you are black, and number two, that your blackness comes with certain histories and certain things and sensitivities that allow us to coexist as a community, then you have to reevaluate who you are protecting, because oftentimes you're not, no other culture waters down who they are, their history, and who they have become, just so that they can preach or be whoever they want to be. Nobody else does that. Everybody else celebrates their culture to the extent that they don't let anybody, any other race or any other ethnicity stop their holidays. If it's a Jewish holiday, guess what? Everything shuts down for Jewish holiday. Even us, we get benefits. We don't have to go to, sometimes we don't got to work, we don't have to school. I mean, so there are things that we as a culture have to understand, and we got to stand on that. Now, I saw this, that people were there for the right reasons, but then the anger, the bitterness of what happened made us turn on each other. So there were moments where we were arguing with each other. I mean, going at it with each other. So that's why your leadership is important. That's why what you're saying and what you're standing on is important. It's key. It has to do with the racism that's being shared against us, not the racism that we ourselves are implementing. It's because of what's been happening to us. So thank you, man. That was a lot. I just wanted to say thank you, man, for taking the time to join us. My brother Ray said education makes US the hunter. I like that. We'll have to really talk about that. But that education also for our schools is teaching our Black history. We got to do that. Juneteenth was important. We need to tell our children why.
Absolutely. Yeah. And last thing I'll say, if I can, we can't just, one thing that we have to do when you talk about education and you talk about changing culture, we can't celebrate Juneteenth just on a single day. And
Amen.
the way we install that into our youth, into our young adults, is every day we practice that. Every day we should be practicing love. Every day we should be educating our young folks and our generation on what ancestors have done for us, what the sacrifices they have done. When we wait for a single day to go and celebrate and to go and try to educate, I believe personally, and this is my personal opinion, I believe it's missed, right? Because we got to wait 364 days to come and say, you know what, folks, we should, as a culture, be continue to educate and practice this on a daily basis until it's installed in their minds, until our young kids can come outside and say, I know what Frederick Douglass has done for us. I know what Maya Angelou has done for us.
Yes.
I know what, this is how we continue to make sure that the education is there. But I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And
No
again,
problem,
happy Father's
man.
Day.
Thank you so
Man,
much.
happy Father's Day to you, man. You may see me soon, sir. I'll greet you and appreciate, man, you coming on to join us, man. Enjoy your day and happy birthday to the little guy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, man. Until next time. Thank you so much. You have a good day. All right. Be blessed. Wow, that was Dr. Rikki Vaughn. Oh,
yes.
Man. Inspiration, man, to have him join us today. Rissa, what are your thoughts, Rissa?
I was about to say that as well, that quote from Harriet Tubman. And I also wanted to take it back because, we represent Christ. We represent diversity. We represent inclusion. But Jesus had to get to the Gentiles to let them know that there was a promised land for them. They were included in the promise. When God sent Jesus to save us, he included us in the promise, and not just, Black people, not just white people, not just any other ethnicity. But since I'm Black, I'm going to talk about me. I'm included in the promise. Now, I often mention that, hearing honestly, the Black church cringes my soul. And it cringes my soul because I wasn't well versed in why it was said in the first place. And so I learned and I come to know that it was said in the first place because back in those days, they tried to separate us from the promise.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had to educate our own selves on the God that they wanted us to have faith in. But what they did not realize was what they meant for evil, God will always turn a thing around for good. Now that we know that we're included in the promise, we're not going to, allow anybody to devalue. Now, I'm not saying that we as in only Black people. I mean, people that believe in unity. I mean, people that really support the communities that they live in. I mean, allies. My family is full of, multi-races. You know what I'm saying? It's full of different colors and shades and shapes and all of that stuff or whatever. And we actually love each other. Now, this is my thing. If I'm a person and I have a person standing next to me, regardless of what color they are, they better ride for me.
Yeah.
I want them to care about the things that I care about.
Yeah.
I want them to be upset about the things that I'm upset about, because it does not just affect me. And when that woman mentioned, he didn't say this to me, I understand the mindset of inclusion. I understand the mindset of diversity, because my daughter, some of her best friends are not Black, right? So I want her to love on her friends. I want her to support her. But I said, listen, the first time that somebody shows you that they do not support you and stand with you, that is not a friend. That's not a friend. Because like you said, AJ, you have to decide what side you're on.
Yeah.
And and thank you so much for sharing with us on Sundays.
Yeah.
And one of the speakers that came up Sundays, and Cynthia Harrison, the evangelist, said that this is not a power struggle situation. This is not a race thing. This is a sin thing. And if you don't know what promises and purpose is laid out for you, you're going to get mixed up in the crowd. You're going to get mixed up in the crowd, because if God tells me that I have access to a cattle on a hill, then that means I have access.
That's right. You have access.
If God says, and I'll always say this, and I'll end with this, AJ, and then I'll pass you the torch. Don't let the Israelites make you miss the promised land like Moses. You'll get them there, and you'll never see the land flowing with milk and honey.
Jesus. Come on. Come on. That is such a powerful statement.
And that goes for Black, Puerto Rican, Haitian, white, whatever. I have worked so very hard in my lifetime with my family, with my friends, with my church, with my community. And, we pullers, we're pushers. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. We can educate them and we can lead them. But if they don't want to go, we can't force them. Just like nobody can force us to do a thing, right?
Yes.
So when we have great leaders that come into the forefront and say, let me tell you why we're organizing. Let me tell you, because it doesn't just affect you. It's going to affect your child. Because I know that you remember, AJ, that there was a Pharaoh that did not know Joseph.
Didn't know Joseph. Didn't know him. How can you not know who Joseph was?
So generations and things that happen, there's always going to be somebody to try to cut the history off and say, you know what, you don't have to worry about that because that didn't happen here.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that because, it never happened over here. But then you start reading and you start listening and you start talking and you start feeling. And then when things come on the TV, and then you have to explain now to your great grandchildren why somebody killed them that's in authority. Now, why you can't have police officers in your school. Why now you can't have the Bible, you can't have prayer. Why now you can't do all of these things. What are you going to tell them? What are you going to tell them? And then how are you going to teach them? But there was a man named Jesus that came to give you a promise. If you take out some of the history, what are you going to do?
So you done started something, and we only got 5 minutes. But let me say this: you are 100% right. There was a Pharaoh that came that didn't know who Joseph was. I heard a preacher say this way. Go ahead. Didn't know.
Didn't know the unity. Didn't know the support.
History, didn't know who.
Didn't know.
I mean.
Didn't.
Yeah, I mean, and that's key. But then there was a man who came that knew all of the history. His name is Jesus. Here's the issue. And this is, we've been talking about a lot of social issues. And some people say, well, when are y'all going to talk about God? Well, if you hung around long enough, you've been clear that we don't stay on our social soapboxes long, because it's too ingrained in us. The power of God in us and the Holy Spirit in us will not allow us to stay on our social issues. What we're trying to do is build the bridge. I can't wait to get on the other side of the bridge, because the other side of the bridge for us, Rissa, means there's liberty in his presence. You hear that?
Yes.
We're free in his presence. Here's the other thing, to the sister who says, well, he wasn't talking about us because I have biracial. Now, that was one of the most ignorant things I've ever heard. Okay. But here's what I'm going to say in response to that. If you can't accept part of me, you can't accept the whole me. If you don't see if you don't see every part of who I am, you cannot accept the whole me. Here it is. You can't take part of Jesus and not accept the whole Jesus. The whole Jesus dealt with social issues. The whole Jesus dealt with the social divide. The whole Jesus dealt with the Jews, Gentiles, the laws that separated, and the race, the prejudices that in that time were working. That Jesus dealt with all of that. And guess what he said? He said, love thy neighbor as thyself. So for those who are watching or listening contextually, God is in the midst, even if you don't think so. This brother Rikki, Dr. Rikki, he's doing the Lord's work, even if you don't think so, because he's not pulling scriptures and everything. Everything he said rang to me about being able to come so that he can show people what a just God looks like, where justice is served. He didn't say, I want to hurt him. I'm upset. I'm angry. He didn't say, I didn't want him to do business. He said, take the business outside of the community in which you have no sensitivity to. Now if you're going to get support, hey, guess what? Take your business there. He even showed us how he started with 1 bay and then went to 3 bays in the same shopping center because of the money that's coming in from the community. So any compromise to the money is obviously going to put them in a bad situation where they have to make decisions. But ultimately, the change that we're all looking for, maybe your change is not for that. Maybe your change is just to create a better environment for your family and your children than you had. Then that's worth fighting for. So our time is up for our show today. I'm so grateful. I want to say thank you, Rissa. Thank you, Trina, for joining us. We're still praying for our AGR family. Tiff, we're keeping you uplifted and sending God's refueling power to you to strengthen you in this time. So glad that you took your time to reflect. I know tomorrow's Father's Day. For those fathers, happy Father's Day to my brother Ray.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rissa. I appreciate it. Any closing thoughts or anything you want to share before we go?
No, I say no. I do the same thing Trina do, don't I? No, but I just want you guys to know and understand that there is a God that loves you so much. There's a God that looks high and he cares for you and he honors you and he loves you. And I want you guys to seek after him so that you can know what your promise is and know what your purpose is so that you can build generations from that.
Yeah, amen. That's good. We offer Christ to you. Christ is made available to you. You want to be set free. You want to be a world changer. You want to change and speak truth to power. Here's the opportunity. Listen, give your life to Christ. I'm telling you, it's the best decision I've ever made. I'm telling you, God is good. And when you give your hand to Jesus, issues like what the church is doing and saying, those things go away, because when you have a relationship, you can have that relationship and see beyond the hurt of people, the imperfections of people, and you're dealing with your relationship and you're not worried about what everybody else is doing. So that
you'll be better.
And you'll be better than ever.
Better than ever.
Okay. All right. So that closes us for today. Listen, we love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tune back here, right here.
2 Peter 1:3
next week.
tells us
love
that
y'all. Peace out.
God has given us everything that we need